Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Bringing you the news from Sri Lanka and across the world, it's your national news broadcast on Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Siobhan Pereira.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Sharifa Tahir. Let's take a look at the headlines.
Two bodies recovered from a house at Tangol. 600 kilos of narcotics also recovered from a nearby location. The government will not hand over the power sector to private institutions, emphasizes the president. Electricity Board employees tender letters declaring their willingness to join 4 government-owned companies. A host of international achievements while the government completes 1 year in office. President will leave for the US tonight, also to visit Japan on the 27th of this month. Tourist locations of Sri Lanka taken into a booklet. Several European countries ready to accept the concept of a Palestine state. And in your top story tonight, police have found 2 dead bodies in an old house which was under repair in Sinimod area in Tangol.
According to police, another person lived in that place had fallen ill and died after admitting to the hospital. Meanwhile, police have also found nearly 400 kilograms of heroin and ice narcotics packed in 2 lorries in close vicinity. The police further said that nearly 200 kilograms of narcotics have been found in another place nearby. Relatives of the person who died at the Tangol hospital this morning had made a complaint to the police suspecting his death. Then the Tangol police started an investigation and 2 dead bodies were found in a house where the victim had lived. It has been revealed that the house was under renovation and the construction workers are the persons who have died in a mysterious manner. The police also checked 2 lorries parked in the garden of the house and discovered over 10 kilograms of ice narcotics concealed in 1 lorry. According to an information, the police have also seized a lorry that had left the place before the arrival of the police officers. A haul of about 200 kilograms of heroin and ice narcotics, 5 revolvers and a T-56 firearm have been discovered by the police concealing in the second lorry. Tangol police have arrested a suspect at present in this connection. The stock of narcotics was checked by the government analyst.
මේ මග්ගවි ජාවාරමට සම්බන්ධ වෙච්ච 15 සිට ඉහළට 15ට ඉල්ම උද්ගලයන් ගම් මට්ටමේ ඉඳගෙන ඔවුන්ව අවශ්‍ය නීතිමය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්න අවශ්‍ය පසුබිම මොනතරම් පොලිසිය ලබා දෙනවා. මේ පොලිසිය ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ක්‍රියා කරනවා නම් 19 61 80 කියන WhatsApp එකකින් ඉන්නවා පුළුවන්. ඒ ඇතුළු වල රහස්‍යභාවයේ උපරිම රකින්න.
An 18-year-old Malta national had been arrested yesterday who had maintained an ice narcotics factory at Salmaluina area in Valihinda Valigama. Police stated that the suspect was produced before the Mathura courts and received 7-day detaining order for further investigations. On an information received by the police, a team of police had checked this house yesterday. The police have found a number of utensils that are used for manufacturing ice narcotics. 10 trays of ice narcotics were also recovered. It has been revealed that the suspect had arrived in the island on tourist visa and had extended his visa for another 3 months. Police sealed the house yesterday after checking and opened again today for investigations. Mithenia police today discovered a pistol, 2 gold-colored magazines, 115 numbers of T-56 ammunitions and foreign-made live hand grenade at a search operation conducted at the Karyamaditha Virodagama in Mithenia area today.
Now in more local news, an extraordinary gazette notification has been issued by the government declaring all services connected with the supply of electricity as an essential service under orders by President Anurakumara Dissanayake. This gazette notification has been signed yesterday as per powers of the second clause of Essential Public Service Act No. 61, 1979 by the President. The notification has been issued taking into consideration the possibility of any obstacle or disturbance to the above-mentioned service, which is essential in order to maintain normal daily life, where services provided by any government corporation or department or local government institution or a cooperative society or any branch of it mentioned in the schedule. Steps have been taken to declare these services as essential services pertaining to all above-mentioned services regarding power supply from the above-mentioned institutions. Amalgamation of employees into 4 companies with total government ownership established implementing the Lanka Electricity Amendment Act has been commenced by now. Accordingly, a section of employees of the Electricity Board have tendered letters declaring their willingness to join the concerned institutions to Chairman of the Electricity Board, Professor Udayanga Hemapala, this morning at the headquarters of the Ceylon Electricity Board. The Minister of Power and Energy, issuing a communique in this regard, has mentioned that the employees of Ceylon Electricity Board have appreciated the restructuring process implemented, conducting necessary structural changes required for the development of the power sector parallel to the development targets of the country.
President Anurakumara Dissanayake says that the government will always stand for the country's energy sovereignty, making it clear that there is no requirement whatsoever to entrust the power sector to private institutions. The President made these remarks today during a progress review meeting on the new reforms in the power sector held at the Presidential Secretariat. Members of the committee appointed to implement the reforms were present together with directors of the newly established companies including the Electricity Distribution Lanka Private Limited, National Transmission Network Service Provider Private Limited, Electricity Generation Lanka Private Limited and National System Operator Private Limited. The President noted that ensuring energy sovereignty is vital for Sri Lanka's economic growth, national security and independence. What the government seeks, he explained, is not privatization but the elimination of inefficiencies within the existing institutional framework with the aim of building a more effective and well-structured system. President Anurakumara Dissanayake pointed out the urgent need for a new institutional framework to drive efficiency and transformation in the power sector. He explained that the old structure was no longer adequate and that the necessity for change could not be denied. He assured participants that no existing positions or salary scales would be reduced during the transition and all employee rights would be fully safeguarded. Furthermore, all entitlements previously held under the Ceylon Electricity Board would be preserved within the new structure, while any outstanding issues specific to the CEB would be resolved prior to the integration. He also underlined that energy independence would remain protected and that the sector would continue to be entirely state-owned. The President pointed out that institutions exist not only for their employees but for the country and its people. If the new framework enables electricity needs to be met more efficiently, continuously and at fair prices, it would represent a victory both for the government and for employees. He reiterated that the government is fully prepared to protect the rights of workers at every stage of the reform process. What is taking place within the CEB, he explained, is simply the transformation of a long-standing institutional structure into a modern one. It is not a sale, not a transfer of state ownership, nor an abandonment of energy sovereignty, but rather a reflection of the global path of development. Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakodi, ministry officials and officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board were present at this occasion.
Meanwhile, several intellectuals expressed their views regarding the current economic stability and progress in economic growth in Sri Lanka. Professor Vasanta Tukoral of the University of Peradeniya said that the country was experiencing a serious inflation by last year. Goods and services sector were at very high inflation levels during that period. However, the situation has eased by this year. During the first 8 months of the year, the monthly inflation was at a deflation condition. Even the interest rates were very low to encourage investors. Therefore, the share market showed significant growth.
සේවාවන්ගේ මිල ගණන් මාසික විනාශ වීම පහළ යාමක් තමයි අපිට දැක ගැනීමට හැකියාව ලැබුණේ. ඒ වගේම ආර්ථිකය තුළ ඉතාමත් අඩු පොලි අනුපාතිකයක් පවත්වාගෙන යමින් ආයෝජකයන්ට යම් ආකාරයකට ආයෝජනය දිරිමත් කිරීම සඳහා ක්‍රියා කරන බවක් අපිට දැක ගන්නට ලැබුණා. ඒ නිසාම සමහර විට කොටස් වෙළඳපොළ ඉතාමත් හොඳ තත්ත්වයක වර්ෂය පුරා ක්‍රියාත්මක වීමක් අපිට දැක ගන්නට පුළුවන්කම තිබුණා.
ඔබ දන්නවා දැන් පහුගිය
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Export Credit Insurance Corporation, Professor Aruna Shanta Arachi, said that the country has been able to achieve an 8% economic growth during the past year. In the first quarter, it was at 4.8%. In the second quarter, it increased up to 4.9%. By the end of this year, the country expects a 5% economic growth as targeted.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake will be leaving for USA tonight to participate in the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly. The president will address the UN General Assembly at 3:15 p.m. USA time on the 24th of this month. President Anurukumara Dissanayake will join bilateral negotiations with the General Secretary of the United Nations and several other world leaders. The president will also participate in a meeting with the Sri Lankan diaspora in the USA. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, Vijitha Herath, is also participating in this official tour with the president. Meanwhile, President Anurukumara Dissanayake will also start an official visit in Japan on the 27th of this month under an invitation made by the Japanese government. During the visit, the president will also meet Japanese Emperor. The president will also take part in a meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister, which will raise concern on many mutually important issues to both countries. The president is further scheduled to address a business forum comprised of top-level businessmen and investors in Tokyo. The president will take part in the Export 2025 Osaka exhibition as well. The aim of this event is to explicit Sri Lanka's cultural heritage and economic potentials before the international community. The president also expects to address the Sri Lankan community living in Japan.
Sri Lanka has achieved a host of important successes in the international relations sector during the past 1 year. Now, this has been fulfilled as a result of the present foreign relations conducted at present. Here we have a brief description in this regard. The past 1 year has been an extremely challenging period for any country in the world, where a number of global challenges surfaced. These global conditions are extremely challenging for small countries like Sri Lanka. Anyway, the foreign relations policy process introduced by the present government under President Anurukumara Dissanayake has provided courage to remain unruffled for Sri Lanka. The main aim of this policy is to maintain a respectable diplomatic relations based on the national aspirations of the country. The policy manifesto of the government had emphasized that this process is not a foreign relations policy based on the survival of local governments and external influences. Maintenance of a balanced foreign relations policy within the Asian region became foremost among them. Although various kinds of doubt prevailed within certain quarters regarding the foreign relations sector when the present president came into power, it has been accepted without any argument that the international relations journey of the government is a success. President Anurukumara Dissanayake selected neighbouring India as his first state visit destination after assuming power. He took this decision considering the neighbour-first policy of the government of India and the long-standing bilateral relations between the two countries. The present government has been able to direct the Indo-Lanka relations towards a new horizon. At present, India has become a development partner of Sri Lanka in all spheres. It has been confirmed during the state visit of Indian Premier Narendra Modi in April this year. It is extremely important for Sri Lanka to maintain advantageous relations with China, which is the second largest economy in the world and the Asian giant, in a balanced manner. The state visit of the president to China in January and the assistance provided by China to Sri Lanka during the past 1 year affirms the correct path followed by our country. The president engaged in an official visit to the United Arab Emirates, illustrating the maintenance of relations with the Middle East region, which is of importance economically to Sri Lanka. The process to enhance relations with Germany, a powerful state in Europe, and other state visit to Vietnam in order to confirm existing relations as a new Asian regional commercial center can be described as important occasions in the policy implementation of the government. The president's state visit to the smallest of Sri Lanka's neighbors, the Maldives, signified special attention Sri Lanka pays to that country. Many countries of the world faced serious problems due to the tariffs introduced by the US President Donald Trump. The government of Sri Lanka entered into trade negotiations with the US swiftly and became successful in getting the tariffs imposed against Sri Lanka reduced in 3 stages. This can be described as a special achievement of the present government.
If you just look at the foreign direct investment, of course, we do not claim that this has just gone up to a significant level and so all the problems, economic problems have been solved. No, but with this stabilization time period, sizable foreign direct investments have come. So during that 1 year period, more than $1 billion US of foreign direct investments have come. So that is a good sign that investors can come and invest because the environment is conducive for everyone. Investors' confidence is gradually being built. So these things would really help us to bring more and more investment to the country, so whereby the people can engage in economic activities actively, so that in addition to the production catering to the local market, we can expand our export market as well. As of now, we are strategizing to find new markets to diversify export markets, and we want to diversify our export items as well. We have identified new opportunities in the global supply chain, where instead of just manufacturing or producing one single product from Sri Lanka, we are trying to be alliance with part of or components of one big product in the global supply chain. So that is the way forward.
Another decisive factor to determine the accurate foreign relations path followed by the present government is the response regarding Sri Lanka at the 60th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, which was conducted recently. Sri Lanka did not receive any kind of assistance at the Human Rights Council after 2010, but the Gulf Cooperation Council, consisting of 43 countries, came forward to represent Sri Lanka at this session this year. Those countries questioned the proposals to interfere in the internal matters of Sri Lanka, also stressed that the island should be allowed to follow the local mechanism which is being implemented.
A ceremony was held today at Slough in London to mark the first anniversary of the National People's Power government. Sri Lankan living in the UK participated in this event. It is significant that the ceremony was held at the same hall where the presidential candidate Anurukumara Dissanayake addressed the Sri Lankans in UK 1 year ago. It is reported that a larger crowd than the meeting held 1 year ago were present at the ceremony. Delivering the welcome speech, representative of the NPP branch in the UK, Dr. Indunil Wijanayake said that the present government has huge strength to direct the country towards victory. Addressing the crowd in Tamil, Sudarshini Gunalan stated that the current government is advancing forward, uniting all communities as Sri Lankan people. Minister Saroja Savhiri Paulraj also addressed the ceremony in both Sinhala and Tamil through Zoom, and Sri Lankans from numerous states in the UK were present at this event. They also expressed their views regarding the 1 year journey of the new government. Survey reports have established the fact that Sri Lanka is a beloved tourist destination.
Therefore, it has become extremely important to assist foreign tourists in Sri Lanka to find their favorite destinations. This is a report on how a tourist handbook helps the incoming tourists. Sri Lanka is an extremely attractive tourist zone where the visitors could easily select a location with different climatic conditions to be covered within a minimum period. This unique advantage has attracted a large number of tourists from many parts of the world to the island. The booklet, titled The Elite Guide, was compiled. This handbook is comprised of 2 parts, one with 280 pages of the size of a palm of a hand and the other 215-page guidebook of an A5 type.
was about very much the touristy places, so Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Sigiri, and so on and so forth. But it's really important for visitors to understand the history and culture, and our history and culture goes back 2,500 years. So my book really goes back over 2,500 years, and it's important for people to understand its history, especially as far as Buddhism is concerned and how Buddhism came to Sri Lanka.
A striking feature of this work is the summarizing of the enchanting beauty of the landscape with an extremely limited number of pages. Another special characteristic is the ability to even a lone tourist could find the location. Nearly 100 photos in this pocket-sized book are the pictures recorded in the camera lens of Ishan Gunasekara.
I was actually born in London. As a photographer, I wanted to showcase my work of photography. So I printed an A5 book, which is very photographic and it's very visual, large photographs. The other book is a smaller production, which is a pocket book. And the reason why I did that is it makes it easy for people to carry and travel with, especially the backpackers. So it's a fun book. It's got a pop-up map and it's got a removable book as well. Well, I think, initially when I did my first book, it was about very much the touristy places, so Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Sigiri, and so on and so forth. But, it's really important for visitors to understand the history and culture. And our history and culture goes back 2,500 years. So my book really goes back over 2,500 years. And it's important for people to understand its history, especially as far as Buddhism is concerned and how Buddhism came to Sri Lanka, and really the way that our culture works. And I think that that's what I've tried to put within my book, so people can really fully understand who the Sri Lankans are.
The tourist destination guidebook depicts in a most simple but in an eye-catching manner the heritage of the nation of more than 2,500 years. Ishan Gunasekara, who was born and bred in faraway England, has rendered an immeasurable service for the Sri Lankan motherland. It could be considered as a remarkable contribution to create such a work in large measure for tourists to get to know their beautiful Sri Lanka and its tourist destinations.
Former State Minister Shashendra Rajapaksa, facing an allegation of corruption, has been further remanded until the 30th of this month. The Colombo Chief Magistrate Asanka Esbodaragama issued the order today, reflecting his appeal to grant bail. A building illegally constructed at Kiribanbava area, Sevanagala, which belongs to the Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority, and property were damaged during the Aragala on the 9th of May 2022, where paying of compensation has been rejected for the same. Shashendra Rajapaksa has been accused of obtaining compensation by influencing certain officials of the office for reparation against it, misusing the powers of his official post. This case has been filed against him when he was taken into custody on suspicion for committing an offence under the Public Properties Act by criminal misuse of a property belonging to the Mahaweli Authority for the offence of obtaining an amount of 8.85 million rupees. The Colombo High Court has ordered the hearing of the court case filed against Yoshitha Rajapaksa, son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act by the Attorney General on the 15th of October. When the case was taken up for hearing today, Yoshitha Rajapaksa and his grandmother Daisy Forrest, who have been named as defendants, appeared before the court, and the case has been filed against these defendants, alleging they have committed the offence under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act by pointing out that they have illegally acquired assets and properties amounting to 73 million rupees. The bail application of former State Minister Prasanna Ranavira, who is at present in prison custody, was rejected today when he was produced before the Gampa High Court. He has been alleged of selling a government land by processing fraudulent deeds. When his bail application was taken up for hearing again today, the hearing regarding the issuing of bail order was deferred until the 30th of this month.
3 persons of the same family have been injured in an accident that occurred in the Southern Expressway at the Bandaragama area this morning. In this accident, a bus has collided with a motor car and a cab. When a motor car suddenly applied brakes to save an iguana creeping across the road, a bus came that came from behind has collided with the motor car and another cab. Police said that traffic congestion ensued following the accident. The driver of the bus has been taken into custody and the injured were admitted to the Kalubowila Teaching Hospital for treatment. A speeding lorry at the Forest Junction in Haveli along with the Ragala-Norelia road knocked down a motorcyclist last night, killing him. The 21-year-old victim was a resident of the Haveli area. Our correspondent stated that the victim was admitted to the Norelia District Hospital and succumbed to his injuries this morning.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya points out the importance of formulating a new policy recognizing present requirements and tendencies of education. She made these comments when the Policy Development National Committee of Higher Education met at the ministry. The meeting was called with the objective of formulating a complete national policy for the higher education sector, priorities in the national education innovations and the confirmation of agreement between global standards and local requirements has been emphasized at the meeting. The Prime Minister also stressed the necessity of updating present policies, laws and regulatory frameworks after reviewing them to suit the challenges of the new era.
Here's a sensitive episode where a father himself came forward to donate a kidney to be transplanted to his child who is suffering from a kidney disease. He is being reported from Inamalu area, Tambulla. He requests those willing to donate to provide assistance in order to sustain the life during a period of 3 months treatment. R.M. Senrat Bandara is a 40-year-old father of 2 children, and according to him, his 23-year-old child Chalinduruwan Bandara is suffering from a kidney disease for a number of years. The daughter of Senrat Bandara and his wife is appearing for the GCE ordinary level examination this year. The father spent a lot of money for his child's treatment for a number of years and finally decided to donate one of his kidneys. The parents of the child is in a special request to benevolent people, requesting them to provide assistance in cash or kind for his child to get necessary requirements fulfilled after the kidney transplant.
A special discussion was held regarding the health development program of Ampara and Kalmune in the Eastern Province recently at the Ampara Provincial Health Service Director's Office. The discussion, held under the leadership of Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, was attended by all chiefs of health institutions in the Ampara district and other government institutions. Discussions were held targeting the health service supply system for a population of 800,000 in the Eastern Province by the hospitals and other related matters. The minister pointed out that as health chiefs of Ampara district, necessary decisions should be taken to provide high-quality service to the people of the area. The minister added that recruitments will be made to the nursing service in the future, strengthening human resources of the health service, and also expects to provide a major chunk of recruitments to the northern and eastern provinces as per the requirements. It has also been planned to recruit 1,900 health service assistants under a new program during the next 2 months. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that an amount of 604 million rupees has been allocated for health as financial expenditure this year. An amount more than this is expected to be allocated in the next budget to be presented. An amount of 550 million rupees is expected to be allocated from the line ministry. Another 290 persons will be recruited within another 6 months, and appointments will be given to another 800 persons. A total of 1,000 persons will be added to the system. Most of the persons out of this 290 will be provided to northern and eastern provinces. 1,900 health service assistants will also be recruited during the next 2 months. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
In international news, several European countries, including France, are reportedly preparing to recognize the concept of a Palestinian state, according to foreign media reports.
The United Kingdom, Australia, Canada and Portugal announced yesterday that they too would formally recognize the Palestinian state. Commenting on the move, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the decision would provide significant support to terrorism. Meanwhile, UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper stated that she had warned against expanding settlements in the West Bank as a response to the Western countries' decision. World leaders are expected to discuss the matter at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, where talks on ending the Gaza war and pursuing a two-state solution are also scheduled according to reports. The decision on an independent Palestinian state has drawn strong criticism from Israel, family members of hostages held in Gaza and several political groups. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, however, has welcomed the decision. In a letter addressed to the Palestinian Authority, the British Prime Minister confirmed that this recognition paves the way for Palestine to live in security, peace and good neighborliness alongside Israel. Currently, about 75% of the United Nations 193 member states recognize Palestine as a state. However, Palestine lacks internationally agreed borders, resources or a military. Reports noted that the recognition of Palestine is largely symbolic. Following Israeli military incursions into the West Bank, the Palestinian Authority, established after peace accords in the 1990s, does not exercise full control over its territory or people. Since 2007, the Gaza Strip has been under the control of Hamas movement. Welcome back. We move on to sports news now. The Champions Trophy to be awarded to the winners of the Women's One-Day International Cricket Tournament 2025 was launched at the R. Premadasa Cricket Stadium in Colombo today.
It will be played over 4 days in Sri Lanka. The Women's World Cup Cricket Tournament will be held from the 30th of this month to the 3rd of November in India and Sri Lanka. Captain of the Sri Lanka women's cricket team Chamari Atapattu players Harshita Madhavi and Nilshi De Silva joined the occasion of the launch of the trophy today. Captain of the Sri Lanka men's test team Dhananjay De Silva, former cricket captain Dinesh Chandimal and Vishwa Fernando also joined this occasion. The trophy will be displayed to the girls players at the CCC grounds in Colombo tomorrow. Parallel to this, a softball cricket tournament will also be held with the participation of the Sri Lankan players of girls' schools. Players of the Sri Lanka women's cricket team Taruka Shehani, Hansima Karunaratne, Kaushani Nrutyangana and Chetana Vimukti will also participate in it. Blaze and Tonk, the pets of the Women's World Cup Cricket Tournament, will also participate on this occasion. On the third day of the display of the trophy, it will be kept for public display at the Lotus Tower premises on the 24th of September. Well, that was a look at the news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I've been Siobhan Pereira together with Sharifa Tahir. Wish you a pleasant evening and a great week ahead.
Good night.